wonderful Milton Lake at Bury Hill Fishery. Welcome to another Fishing Tail Films, and today I'm here to try and catch some tench and some crucians because there's plenty of them in this wonderful lake. Well, welcome to another Fishing Tail Films, and today I've come down to the Bury Hill complex where I'm going to be fishing Milton Lake, a lake I know very well from past years. I've not fished it, I would say, for a good 7 or 8 years. When I used to work here at Bury Hill, this was my favourite lake out of the three, because it just offers brilliant mixed fishing. And my target species today is going to be the Crucian and tench, and there's plenty of them in here as well. Also there's some brilliant roach fishing and perch, but it's the tench and crucians that I'm going to be after today, and if anything else pops along then that'll be great as well. So let's get the tackle out. I'm going to be fishing the float rod, and I'll go through the tackle a little bit later as we go along, but let's get fishing. Well, it's nice to get my day underway, and I've had one of the target species, which is this nice little tench. There you go, it's a good start. Put up a nice little scrap, and hopefully there'll be a few more of these, few bigger ones as well. They do go up to around about the 5-6 pound mark here in Milton Lake. And I had this on a small 6mm pellet, which I'll show you a little bit later on. Little hooker pellet, an F1 hooker pellet, and there we go. Nice little tench to kick off the session. Well, to give you a little rundown of what I'm using, I'm on a 15-foot Floatmaster rod. It's like a combo rod. You can fish it at 13 and 15 foot. I used to fish Milton with if I was pleasure fishing, with a 15 foot version of the rod, which is what I'm using today. It's been a few years since I've used this rod. It's got a lovely nice tip action on it and lots of power in there. Reel is the Dower Ninja, loaded with 6 pounds line, with the front drag sort of slackened off. So when any fish takes that lunge, it gives a bit of line, which is always a good way. Otherwise you're just going to pull out the fish or snap your line. Using 6 pound main line, and I've got a 4 pound hook to nylon, size 14 hook, fine wire gauge, and I'm actually using a pole float because it's nice and sensitive. Hopefully when I start catching some Crucians, I'll be able to get the benefit of seeing the bites. I don't know if you can see the float. It's one of the old T-pose, Drennan T-pose, 0.75, and I've sort of got some number 6 shots strung out about 18 inches from my hook, and then a number 8 dropper about 4 or 5 inches from the actual hook itself. And I'm catching the fish, or that tench I just had that on the F1's hooker pellet, 6mm, which you can buy in any shop. They're just the little tubs, which are quite a nice little pellet to use for the tench and the Crucians. I do like it. I've had a few bites now, a few missed bites, but just hooked up with that one. I'm not fishing that far out, and I'm also feeding the line just down the edge there. I've got a few bubbles actually showing right close into the margins. Depth wise, it's quite a uniform depth all around. I've got about 3.5 foot, and I'm fishing about an inch over depth, so not too far. So as soon as a fish picks up my bait, I'm going to get that register. It's going to register on the old plastic tip on the T-po float. So that's what I'm doing, nice and simple. I like to keep my fishing as simple as I possibly can. Feeding is the key, like it always is. Some little balls of ground bait out, the Swim Steam Green by Dynamite, which is a fish meal based ground bait. And I know the fish from past, the fish love a bit of fish meal in here, especially the tench and the Crucians. And feed wise, I'm putting in a few small pellets, not a lot, because I don't want to get the fish preoccupied. Trying not to overfeed as well, because if they start fizzing too much, that means that they're fizzing too much on the ground bait. I want them to obviously concentrate on my hook bait. So feeding is minimal. Conditions wise, the sun's in and out. It's set for a cloudy day, which is perfect really. There's a crosswind to my right, to my left. But it's not hindering the presentation at all. So having a 15-foot rod means I can really control the line as well. So we've kicked off with a nice tench, small one, but it's a tench, and let's see what we can get for the rest of the session today. And like I say, one of my favourite places, Milton, and it's good to come back. Probably about 8 years I reckon it's been since I last fished it. Let's get going. Let's try and get some more of my favourite species, the tench and those lovely Crucians. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've been feeding up a little swim down to the right there next to some reeds with little balls of ground bait, a few casters, a few small pellets, and I've just decided to have a little go down the edge and got this lovely tench. You can see that, £4, 12 ounces, put up a fantastic scrap, lovely deep bodied fish, big old tail on him, and well chuffed with that. And that's my second tench of the session, and hopefully there'll be some more to come. So they do get a little bit bigger than this, but what a fine fish, really pleased with that. And like I say, the old paintbrush tail, teddy bear eyes as they say, lovely tench. What a cracker. Well, the good news is the tench are still feeding. They went a little bit finicky, so changed my baits. I went on to two little red worms, and it wasn't in there long, and walloped straight under, and another hard fighting tench. They really are. They really are stunning fish. They really do scrap, don't they? Look at him showing off with his dorsal fin high up in the air. And great scrap. Let's pop him back. I reckon he's probably pushing up to around about the £3 mark. But boy did he put up a scrap. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but that's what tempted that last tench I just had there. 2 red worms on a size 14 hook, fine wire hook, and they simply can't resist those worms. A great tench bait. Let's get back out and see if I can tempt another one. compared to that 412, which was short and fat. This is very long. Put up another brilliant scrap, and again that was on double redworm, so they'd really like the old redworm. And fantastic bite. Didn't mess about, buried it straight away. And another brilliant tench, turning into quite a nice tench session. No sign of the Crucians yet. They may turn up later, but I'm enjoying myself catching the other target species for today, the tench. What a great fish. Well, I'm pleased to say I've managed to catch one of my other target species today, the lovely Crucian carp. Probably round about the pound, maybe slightly over, and he took double pieces of little redworm, and probably accounted for a couple of finicky bites that I missed. Obviously some Crucians have moved in. There's a lot of fish blowing down to me right, and what a wonderful fish they are. Absolutely adore catching these Crucians. To be honest, it doesn't matter what size they are. A little 2-inch Crucian, a 4-pound Crucian, doesn't really make a lot of difference to me. They're just an amazing fish to catch. Let's pop him back. Well, this part of the swim has certainly been the most productive tench wise. I've had more tench out of this part of the swim, and also that Crucian as well, so the fizzy bubbles coming up, so the fish are feeding quite heavily down there. So as long as they carry on wanting my double worm, which seems to be producing the bites a lot quicker than waiting for the pellets, so they're obviously preferring the naturals at the moment. And that fish meal ground bait, which I've stopped feeding so much now because I think they were getting a bit preoccupied with it, probably the fish meal side of it. So I've eased off on that. I'm feeding casters and fishing double pieces of small redworms on a size 14 hook, and that's going really well. Look at them. Probably don't know if you can see there. If I can zoom in, you might be able to see them. bubbling away there. But they're certainly rooting away. Right, let's get back out. See if I can catch another one. I'm pleased to say I'm starting to get a few Crucians now. So here's another one. I weighed this one because he felt quite chunky. It's actually £1.7, so I was quite shocked. I double checked the scales, and it's been probably a couple of seasons since I've started, or since I've had a few Crucians. So I thought I'd weigh it just to get my eye back in, and £1.7 to my surprise. So I know I used to get sort of fish around the £3 mark here when I used to fish Milton years ago. And no doubt there's probably still a few about. So let's get back out there. Double worm again. Did the trick. Didn't mess about. Had it straight away. I think the float was in there for about 15 seconds. Let's pop him back. Certainly had a fantastic time here at Milton Lake at Bury Hill Fishery, and as normally is the case on Milton, the tench move out and then the Crucian move in, and they're still fizzing away down there. And another nice Crucian just over the pound mark. Again on double red worm. That seems to have been the best bait today. Started off catching on pellet, and it's gradually the double pieces of red worm that's done the trick for me today. So it's been fantastic. I've had about probably a dozen Crucian and twice as many tench. It's been that fantastic, and I've only been here a few hours, and I'm probably going to make this my last fish. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I shall look forward to returning to Bury Hill very soon, because the fishing is just superb. Been a few changes since I last fished here on Milton Lake. It used to be day tickets, as indeed was bonds. Well, the old lake is now a private lake, so there's no more fishing on that, sadly. But you can still come to Bury Hill and fish Milton and Bonds Lake if you purchase a day members pass. And the best way to do that is you go on the Bury Hill website, which is full of information, and you can join, and then whenever you want to then fish Bonds or Milton, you just simply book online, pay for one rod or two. I think there's concessions on there as well, and then you get a code for the gate, and then on the said date that you want to come, and you can come down and enjoy this fantastic fishing, as I have indeed today. So there you go. I shall put a link to the Bury Hill website underneath this video, so you can click on that and then check out the day members pass ticket if you want to join and become a member. And also, if you're a carp angler, I think there's a waiting list, but there's also the specimen carp ticket, which is for Temple Lake over the back, which also I'm a member as well. So I'm looking forward to having a little session or two this season for some of them big carp that swim around in Temple Lake. So still plenty on offer here at Bury Hill. So check it out and come down and enjoy this wonderful fishery in Surrey. Well, I've certainly ended the day on a splendid way with this fantastic Crucian. £2 6 ounces, so this is the biggest Crucian of the day. And thought I'd have one more cheeky cast, as all us anglers do. And made a slight change. I just put one bit of worm, and I tipped it with a red maggot. And after a little finicky bite on the pole float up and down, it slid away. And this was the result. Absolutely wonderful. £2 6. Fantastic. What a glorious way to finish another episode of Fishing Tail Fields here on Milton Lake at Bury Hill Fishery. And if you've liked the video, please give it a like, and if you haven't, perhaps you'd like to subscribe to the channel, because it helps with all the algorithms and everything that goes on with YouTube. Thanks for your support. Just pop this back.